can't believe it's been 21 years since Dynasty Warriors 4 was released for the PlayStation 2 and then later on the Xbox and PC. To think a childhood game is now over 2 decades old hits me hard, like Lu Bu during a duel at Hulao Gate. Today, we're finally covering the pinnacle of the series of the classic games. The classic era is Dynasty Warriors 2 to Dynasty Warriors 5 and the respective expansions. Of all 4 games of this era, Dynasty Warriors 4 is the king. From its improved storytelling, English dub with actual talent like Steve Bloom being Sun Jian, to which, as a kid, I freaking loved. Oh my god, it's Cowboy Bebop's Spike in a Warriors game.
Hey, listen. You didn't need to post that. Why? Why did you post it? It's too late now to delete it. Now we just have to live with it.
But also, the better combat, new mounts, less grind when it comes to the weapons, now being only one that levels up, the music being a mix of traditional Chinese, techno, rock, and metal. You even have choices and consequences in what battles you play or don't, and if you defeat the enemy commander or let them escape. You can swap out your officers with another of the same faction, as everyone is now under a faction story rather than an individual one with some similarities like in Dynasty Warriors 3. Okay, I've dragged this intro on for long enough. Let's jump into Dynasty Warriors 4 and discuss why it's a must play.
Hell, it's about time.
Sadly, this game doesn't increase the roster by much at all. It's actually the same cast as the last game, except Fu Shi and Nu Hua are removed, but their movesets are now part of the officer edit. We'll talk about created officers and bodyguards later. For now, the few new officers are Xiao Tai, Yu Yin, and Tao Ren. Yep, only one new officer for the 3 main factions of Wu, Wei, and Shu. But that's fine. They made improvements to their appearances and movesets of the existing officers instead, on top of the improvement of the voice acting, giving them more personality, though Zhang He still is his same old self, to which I will always accept.
A beautiful flower must one day shed its petals, much like the Han.
Be quiet! Do not even think such things!
Let us go then, my lord. Restoring peace and tranquility is the duty of a loyal Han retainer.
Yes. The proud Yuan family blood also flows through my veins. To battle! Henceforth, we do not stop until we crush the Yellow Turban Rebellion!
To improve upon the storytelling, they got a whole new cast of voice actors. While not every voice is a fit for their respective officers, nor some of them aren't that good, it's a vast improvement that would only get better till Dynasty Warriors 7, where it finally peaked. Then 8 came along and downgraded everything. And in 9, they hired non-union, and it showed. Oh dear lord, it showed. But thankfully, it's more doable here. For storytelling, they focus more on dialogue during battles and less cutscenes, as things are rather short and more focused on getting you into the battle, rather than telling a story akin to Dynasty Warriors 7. Nonetheless, we got tons of cutscenes, most of which sadly cannot be replayed as they're real-time and not pre-rendered. The pre-rendered have not aged that well, as per usual with all pre-rendered cutscenes. I mean, just look at Final Fantasy VII Original. Yet, they did a good job making things more serious, and I did enjoy several of the voices. You also have alternative stories depending on your actions and failures during battles. If you play battles out of order, or just skip ahead to the final one, you will be punished heavily. The enemy will be stronger, and your forces are more likely to perish in turn. This is apparent right away in the iconic Yellow Turban Rebellion battles. Some chapters have between 1 to 3 battles in them, and if you play them in a certain order, or just go for the main event, it will cost you everything. Yet also lead you to alternative battles, like if Don Zhuo is allowed to flee Hulao Gate, he'll reappear later and cause more chaos for you. If you defeat certain officers in duels, you'll get a cutscene, let alone earn unique items. Players have to make choices and be careful, as it can lead them on wild goose chases and kill them in turn. Another great thing about DW4 is the Musou mode is faction based, so you can switch your officer for anyone in that faction before battle. So if you unlocked a favorite, go ahead and switch to them. Of course, this might be a regret for you as things get more challenging as Musou mode progresses, but that's a challenge you must accept for swapping an officer from a Lubu destroyer to a Lubu bitch boy. I love this concept and hated how it was removed in Dynasty Warriors 5 onward. Giving players choices and punishments is a good way to add replay value and unlock new things. This is the only Warriors game I want to go back and replay over and over again, growing up because of this. While I loved Dynasty Warriors 2, it's basic and short. I never liked the third game, and 5 was a mistake like 6 and 9. 7 is the best, but there's no replay value in that one because there's no free mode and no choices. To which brings me to the modes that Dynasty Warriors 4 has to offer. You have Musou mode for the usual story experience, free mode to play all the battles with anyone you want, so you can defeat Lu Bu at Hulao Gate as Lu Bu if you want. Then there's a versus mode where you can fight another player one-on-one, challenge mode for those who want something else, and finally, introduction of created officers and the one-time feature of custom bodyguards. That's right, you now can make your own officers, to which is extremely limited, so you can't change much of their appearance, such as their skin tone and stuff, as that's locked to the color purple if you want a darker skin tone, or lighter if you use any other color. You can unlock stuff by playing the game, namely for bodyguards, such as Namen troop soldiers, and yes, the yellow turban soldiers are an option as well, when unlocked. Yes, you can now choose your bodyguard appearance, name them, and watch them grow alongside you as usual, but now they're your own personal bodyguards. Put friends and family into the game and watch as Lu Bu massacres them all, because you thought 8 bodyguards with crossbows could take him on. You can choose their color, amount as they unlock, their weapon, their appearance changes as they rank up to reflect their veteran experience, and you can also issue commands to them on the fly, such as attack, defend, and hold position, and fight anyone within range. So if you want, you can leave your bodyguards behind to protect an important officer, like the commander.
I bring troubling news!
I see. So the Imperial forces have finally moved against us.
Huh?
The combat is still lock on, but feels more fluid this time around with more combos and the introduction of elements. You can now select an elemental orb if you have one unlocked during preparation, alongside your other items to boost speed, attack, health, Musou gauge, defense, bow attack, bow defense, bodyguard strength, you name it. I have no complaints about the combat as I'm used to the more tankish controls of the older titles. It's not a problem in the slightest. They introduced duels as well, which would later be removed in later games. When you encounter key officers, you'll be challenged to a duel with a cutscene. If you don't accept, your morale is hit hard. If you accept, you must either win or last till the time is up. If you win, you gain a huge boost and can unlock unique items and dialogue and cutscenes. But if you wait it out, you'll get hit with a decline in morale. If you lose the fight, well, it's game over and time to load up the game again as you're sent right back to the start screen. An exclusive feature to the PC version of Dynasty Warriors 4 is the increased troop count on screen, but also the AI is more aggressive. While not as aggressive as Dynasty Warriors 3, they still put up more of a fight than the console counterparts. The PC version also has dynamic shadows and increased draw distance and superior load times, but it's based on the Xbox version, and doesn't feature alternative costumes, but just a lazy color swap. Just wanted to add those to the video as I'm reviewing the PC version. This video is getting too long, so let's talk about the music and move on to the score. This isn't supposed to be an ACG video after all.
Finally, I will meet Liu Bei in battle. He has good eyes, that one. Like a dragon rising to the heavens.
So, has the Tiger of Jiangdong finally met his match?
If you like the earlier games for their techno, then you'll be happy to know they brought it back with more rock and metal added to it, but also a ton of traditional Chinese to add more authenticity for the mythical Chinese tale. And yes, most of the Three Kingdoms is Hollywood/fairy tale. Some key tracks that are total highlights are the Wall of Fate for Hulao Gate. Lu Bu's theme is no longer trash like it was in the third game, where it sounded completely awful. Eve is an all-time classic for stressful situations and is a must-play in Empire games when you're overly outnumbered. Cry for Wind is easily the best battle tune for Chur B to date. Avenging Battle is a tune of pure adrenaline and emotion. Then, the credits song, Cross Colors, and the credits themselves offer many different scenes and goofy antics of all the officers from the faction you beat the game with is iconic. Sadly, your custom officer isn't allowed in these, but what else is new? They don't even appear in the Empire's credits for 5.
The Allied forces under Yuan Shao are headed here to the city of Luoyang.
Pitiful insects! They don't stand a chance against us! I have the mighty Lu Bu and the beautiful Jiao Chan. The dynasty is under my control. What can Yuan Shao do to me? Go now, Lu Bu! Go and crush these vermin!
So it's time to get this video over with. If you watched the whole thing, thank you. This took way too long to put together. Now on to the score. It's an easy thumbs up and is a great game worth playing. Whether you play the PS2, Xbox, or PC version, it's a game worth going back to and seeing just how much heart and soul was put into these games at one point before Omega Force got complacent, lazy, and greedy with their later titles. Nonetheless, Dynasty Warriors 4 has aged quite well for being 21 years old mechanically, and I couldn't be happier to finally cover an important game from my childhood. See you guys later. It's been a while since I've covered a Warriors game, hasn't it? Also, I never did review Dynasty Warrior 4's 2 expansions, Xtreme Legends and Empires yet. Well, I think it's time to wrap them up and move on to other titles. Today, we'll finally review Dynasty Warriors 4 Xtreme Legends, a PlayStation 2 exclusive, much like Empires, despite the base game being on Xbox, PS2, and PC.
Don't you think, brother? I would like to agree. But
it is what it is. Omega Force has always preferred PlayStation to any other platform over the decades of this franchise's existence. Yes, Dynasty Warriors is nearly 30 years old, and during those 27 years of being an infamous, but only in the West, series, they've made a few great games, some average ones, and a ton of bad ones.
Sweetheart, it wasn't my fault. I'll get him next time, all right?
No, not all right. I'm really getting tired of your excuses.
All right.
So, is Dynasty Warriors 4 Xtreme Legends another one of those bad ones? Well, let's jump into the review finally. Starting out, with the combat.
I fight for myself and only for myself. I do not care about Dong Zhuo.
Dynasty Warriors 4 has the best combat of the classic games. Sure, it's lock-on combat of old, but it works. There's satisfaction in pulling off combos and slaughtering hordes of enemies, not to mention the fact that AI is aggressive for a console entry, as usually the AI is too stupid to fight back, given CPU limitations of consoles at the time, hence why Dynasty Warriors 4 Hyper on PC had better AI as a selling point, to which it was more aggressive than the PS2 version of DW4. Here, of course, it's not as good, but they will try to kill you more so than the base game AI.
What the hell? No.
Certain characters do play better than others, such as Lu Bu being the best for clearing hordes, and Zhao Yun being best for beginner's pick. You have your block, weak attack, strong attack, jump weak attack, jump strong attack, Musou attack, and bow, to which sucks, and I never really use it outside of emergencies, like I'm about to die and need to pick off officers from afar. Otherwise, I never used the bow, and was glad it got removed from later games. Horses are still bad, and you cannot call them to you. Wherever your horse is, it's still standing there waiting for you to come to it. Horse movement in old school Resident Evil tankish as can be. As for the combat, just don't bother using the horse during combat.
How? Let me handle this.
It does suck the enemy can block your attacks so easily, but you cannot in turn. This also can get annoying when you're trying to use a Musou attack and they block the entire thing. Now, if you tried that, it would end poorly. Dynasty Warriors of old feels a bit like Yakuza 3 in that regard, just standing there blocking most of your attacks and then attacking you with unblockable ones. Dynasty Warriors 4 is the first game in the series to introduce Officer Edit. Of course, it's vastly limited in what you can do outside of naming your character with a small character limit to the name. You can pick one of 3 presets for your head, chest, arm, and legs. Then you can pick from several colors of blue, red, green, yellow, purple, and white. You cannot pick your skin color or face. It's predetermined based on which character model you selected, let alone if you pick the color purple, then you'll be darker skinned, while every other color is light.
I ain't even going near that.
It's an okay mode that was expanded upon with each later installment via their Empire's expansion, as DW4 would be the first and last entry to include Officer Edit in the base game. Plus, it's the only one to feature Bodyguard Edit as well, so let's talk about that one.
Let us go. My brother's destiny awaits.
That's right, for the first and only time ever, we can now make our very own bodyguards. Except not really, as we're just picking a pre-made model of male or female, with new options once you complete the requirements or just by playing Xtreme Legends. Then we name each bodyguard within the group, and that's it. So yeah, nothing special, and I do not miss it in later games, except I do miss the AI putting up a fight in later games. A common complaint with us older Warrior fans who grew up with the PS2 games. Back when you had to work hard to get 1,000 kills, back when you had to be careful about pushing forward into enemy forces just to kill the enemy commander, back when you shitted your pants when Lu Bu came running at you cause you're not strong enough yet to face him.
Which was the style at the time?
So then let's talk about Legend Mode. In this mode, each of the 42 playable officers have one unique stage made for them.
Jesus Christ!
Yes, that means you need to play the game 42 times to complete it. Talk about grindy and not worth it. Even if the game is good, I hate grinding and will only cover a select few Legend Mode stages. So let's start out with Lubu.
Butter! Come inside!
For Lubu, his stage is Hulao Gate, where you just slaughter most of the Alliance's army, killing hundreds of troops and taking out each faction's unique officers like Tao Tao, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, Sun Jian, and more.
Who else seeks death?
Though I may die, the Sun family will prevail.
Just clearing waves upon waves of pitiful insects, dwindling down their morale. The stage is a whole lot of fun and also satisfying to play. Lubu's moveset is one of the best after all.
Worthless fodder! Take this! Villains like you are responsible for the current chaos. Is talking all you are good for? If you seek power, then show your might!
Lu Xun is the worst one that I've played by far. His entire stage is comprised of Zhuge Liang's Stone Sentinel Maze, which was dumbed down in later games for a reason. It sucks. It's not fun. There's nothing to enjoy about this Xtreme Legends counterpart of it either. You just run around aimlessly, slowly, with nothing to do after a while, as you have to find the right path of the maze to trigger another ambush, and for more of the statues to go down and up, changing your route. After 10 minutes of this hellish experience, I just gave up and pressed the classic reset combination of start and select. Sun Jian has a stage where Dong Zhuo attacks his home. You must rush towards the castle and stop him from getting in. This is a timed level, and if he gets in, it can lead to a game over if you don't quickly defeat him first. All the while fighting every one of Zhao's officers and avoiding Lu Bu, because if he was a problem in the base game, just imagine facing him in Xtreme Legends given the increased difficulty and aggression.
Bend over and grab your ankles!
Oh, and of course, I have to mention it. It's Steve Bloom.
Enemy officer defeated!
He's voicing Sun Jian.
You didn't need to post that. Why? Why did you post it? It's too late now to delete it. Now we just have to live with it.
Sima Yi has probably the toughest of all stages next to Tao Tao himself, which I'll cover later, but for Sima Yi, it's just ball torture. I mean, look at it. Just non-stop explosions and archer attacks while trying to escape the fire, constantly dwindling away what little health you have. This stage really pushed me to my limits as I struggled to fight alone against hundreds of troops and officers. This stage also was where I learned of Sima Yi's god-awful attack, as I explained earlier, with the camera and all. Every time you defeat an officer or garrison of soldiers, more just spawn in their place. It's just a non-stop gauntlet of enemies where your goal is just to escape, which is easier said than done.
won't let you get away so easily.
Yu Ying, being the wife of Zhuge Liang, is quite smart, inventing a new weapon called the Juggernaut, a wheel-based death trap of fire. Your goal is to protect them from all being destroyed, or it's game over. All the while, you must defeat each of the 5 Tiger Generals of Shu. Each time you defeat one, a new Juggernaut spawns in nearby to make up for any that were destroyed. It's a slow, boring, difficult, glorified escort mission with tons of ambushes and slow, useless escorts you need to protect. This was one of my least favorites.
Blast!
It appears we can use this in battle immediately.
Tao Tao was my first stage I played, and it was grueling. Just trying to not die as enemies are dealing high damage to me as a level 1 character, trying to escape from the failed Chur B campaign.
If we remind him of his debt to you, perhaps... I'll do my best too!
I was just running in circles most of the time, building my Masuo gauge to attack everyone in hopes of not getting hit and dying, losing all my progress.
Wow, you're pretty good.
Seriously, if you love unbalanced bullshit, then this stage is perfect for you. I didn't really enjoy it because of the difficulty spike. I mean, I'm only level 1. Why is it too challenging? At least some of the others give you more of a fighting chance, but here, just bite onto the ball gag and enjoy being ass fucked.
Oh Christ!
Zhao Yun, of course, has the iconic stage of him trying to rescue Liu Bei's baby son, all the while fighting through thousands of Tao Tao's troops and officers. This stage is actually quite easy. You just run around and destroy crates till you find the baby lord.
I would have liked to have seen the chaos end.
After that, you must get to Liu Bei and help him get to the escape point. Zhuge Liang will arrive to help out too. Otherwise, it's not difficult, but there's a lot of fighting with one of the better movesets.
My lord! Ah, Zhao Yun. I am sorry to be late. The young lord is safe. That is all very well. But more than that, I am happy to see that you returned safely.
I'd ship that.
Bro, you telling me you're not even gonna show the gay porn? Bro, should I just turn this off right now? What's the point? Damn, did I just get scammed?
Now that we're done covering some of the Legend mode stages, we can move on to a mode I absolutely hated in Dynasty Warriors 5 Xtreme Legends. That being Extreme mode, where you play as anyone you want, including your edit officer, as you must complete challenges without ever healing outside of the shop before battle if you chose the battle with a shop option. But the healing items and stat boost items cost a fortune, so how do you make money? By completing battles and objectives within them. It's a grueling gauntlet of survival. Eventually you will die or retire. There's no real way to win, there's no end game, you just survive for the sake of surviving. At first it's nothing, but as you complete a stage, the game's difficulty rises, but your stats do not. Your health not recovering outside of expensive meat buns as well, this leads to a lot of frustration. Honestly, at first, it wasn't that bad, mostly because it's Dynasty Warriors 4 and not Dynasty Warriors 5. There's better stages, combat music, art direction, voice acting, and whatnot that keeps me from getting bored too quickly. But eventually I did give up and just let the enemy kill me so I could just quit and move on to the other modes.
I had hoped this to be a more elegant journey.
Speaking of other modes, the last one is Challenge Mode. I never covered this mode for a while. The only exception I can remember was Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition. Yeah, the Japanese love their long titles. Gotta compensate for what they lack below.
You are American?
Yes.
Oh, you must have very big penis.
Endurance has you fighting non-stop enemies till you die. Of course, I chose Luo for this cause who else is better suited for taking out dozens of enemies at once? Especially in these older games before a single press of the square button got you 1,000 KOs. The worst part about this mode is the stage. It's just a large square with enemies at each corner, as you have to slowly move around to reach them, unlike DW7XL, where it was a smaller castle courtyard where the enemies came at you. Eventually, I got bored and allowed the AI to defeat me so I could try the 4 other modes within Challenge Mode.
You suck!
Time Attack has you trying to defeat every enemy within a short time, which is easier said than done. When you start up the game for the first time, it will ask you to import your data from the base game of Dynasty Warriors 4, which isn't possible as I played through the Hyper version on PC and not the PS2 version. So this meant I didn't have any high-leveled characters, unlocked items, or upgraded weapons. I was starting from rock bottom, to which this mode taught me just how bad of a decision that was. Bridge melee has you knocking enemies off the platform that's really not a bridge. You cannot kill them unless you knock them off. If you do, it counts as a KO. But the characters and their movesets can be a con, leading you to fall off the platform and losing.
Can I just have a break? Can I just have one break?
Demolition has you destroying jars, crates, wooden oxes, juggernauts, and battering rams to earn points. You must get as many points as possible within the small time frame. The mode is okay, but nothing great. I found myself getting bored just smashing wood and stone until the juggernauts showed up. Why couldn't they be this effective when I needed them to be in Yu Ying's Legend mode stage? The last mode is Arena, and just takes the base game's duel mode and renaming it. You just fight every officer over and over again. Your goal is just to defeat as many as possible as you can before you eventually lose. God, I hate the constant blocking of all my attacks. Why can't I block theirs?
Get the fuck!
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
Out of all the Dynasty Warriors games, I consider DW4 to have one of the best soundtracks to date, It mixes traditional Chinese music with rock, techno, and metal, blending the classic Dynasty Warriors music of old with more faithful to the setting oriental tone. But, of course, add some heavy guitar riffs to bang your head as you slay over 1,000 troops at Hulao Gate. One aspect of these older Warriors games, namely the PlayStation 2 games, is a lack of control over the camera. It's fixed behind you at all times, and only moves when it wants to, or if you block for a quick second to readjust. It also spazzes out when you use your Musou attack, which can lead to you missing enemies around you, as well as then spin you around with the camera and attack nothing instead of your desired target. This will vary depending on which character you're playing. However, I found Sima Yi to be the worst offender of this camera system. They seem to have kept the voice cast from the base game, unlike Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires, which gave us an entirely new set of voice actors. This is of course inexcusable. How dare you replace Steve Blum with an imitation? He was the best Sun Jian.
He has good eyes, that one. Like a dragon rising to the heavens.
Though some of the voice actors are a bit spotty, as some voices don't really fit these characters, such as Zhang He.
A beautiful flower must one day shed its petals, much like the Han.
Be quiet! Do not even think such things!
Let us go then, my lord. Restoring peace and tranquility is the duty of a loyal Han retainer.
Yes.
Otherwise, no complaints. Out of this classic era of Dynasty Warriors, I consider DW4 to have the best voice cast overall. DW5 was just imitation, and 3 was a joke.
Common swine. You won't be so smug for long.
The last thing to talk about is the encyclopedia. Here we can read up about the 3 kingdoms, view all officers, weapons, and items unlocked. It's a nice little option to see what we have and to read about history/fantasy, given these games are based on a romanticized version of Chinese history with many lies and not really factual.
Huh? How did you...
At the end of the day, Dynasty Warriors 4 Xtreme Legends is a fine game. It's nothing great nor bad. It sits right in the middle of an average, and I do recommend it. If they added new characters and more to do, it could have been even better, and more on par with Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends.
Intolerable! This madman has deceived the people into self-ruin!
But I'll give them credit for trying to make a level based around each of the 42 characters available in the century. However, Extreme Mode sucked and it was a waste of time and resources. They could have focused on adding new characters and given us more story, but it is what it is.
Wait, cousin.
Despite some gripes, I did enjoy this Xtreme Legends, which isn't common on my channel, as I've condemned Dynasty Warriors 3 and 5 Xtreme Legends as a waste, to which they were. But also Samurai Warriors 1 Xtreme Legends was a joke as well. The only good Xtreme Legends expansion so far are DW7XL, SW2XL, and DW4XL. One day I'll tackle the rest of them. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Let's go! For the glory of the Sun family!
After enjoying Dynasty Warriors 4 Xtreme Legends, to my surprise, I decided to finally review the very first Empires game. This is Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires for the PlayStation 2. This is where Empires all started and had since evolved, then devolved from.
I feel like that one was a direct attack at me, and I feel very offended.
Where you're given a more strategic approach to the Three Kingdoms, at least in theory of course, as this game has about as much depth and strategy as choosing a tuna or egg salad sandwich in your local gas station. Either way, you're going to get a tapeworm, and it's not a pleasant experience.
It would be better if we pull back now.
So let's get this video over with, so I can play and review a good game for once. We'll start out with the combat.
The times have changed. We must act now to end this chaos.
Any Dynasty Warriors game prior to Dynasty Warriors 6 had a lock-on, clunky, tankish combat system that took some getting used to, but otherwise isn't the worst thing imaginable. DW4 to me was the best of the classic era of Warriors games when it came to fluidity and enjoyment of its combat. Just getting into combos and slaughtering all those soldiers never got old. Though fuck those archers, they're annoying. At least the AI does put up a fight, unlike later Empires games, but not by much, as they're not as aggressive as the PC Hyperport or Xtreme Legends, minus all officers who will try to put you down.
They're pretty good.
I'll pull back for now!
Honestly, no real complaints outside of the horse and bow still suck, otherwise it's a fun game to slaughter peons in. Unlike later games, Dynasty Warriors 4 has a vastly limited character creator, where you can only make up to 4 custom characters to play with. On top of this, there's only 3 presets per part of the body, like headgear, chest, arms, and legs. You can at least pick from 6 colors like blue, green, red, yellow, purple, and white. Again, like in the base game, purple is the only way to make your skin darker. You cannot alter your face at all. You can pick from several pre-made models and then choose one of 3 preset parts within the editor to create a unique character. Each gender has 3 options of a model to select from. Males have hero, warrior, and strategist, while females have princess, amazon, and girl. Yes, just girl. After making your final decisions on appearance, you need to select a moveset to use from any unique officer. There's no gender restrictions, so go ahead and make a macho dude, like one of the Xiao sisters, and be all frilly. I'm sure Jean He would love that.
A beautiful flower must one day shed its petals, much like the Han.
There's 3 voice types, and this game is in English. There's only 2 more parts to officer edit, and those are skills and types, each to determine how stats grow and their starting points, plus how many items you can use at a time and what your ability in battle is. Overall, it's an okay edit mode for a first in Empires. Just wish, however, we could save more than 4 officers at a time.
Be quiet! Do not even think such things!
Outside of edit mode and Empire mode, we have a unique option exclusive to this Empire's entry, a versus mode, where you can fight another player or the CPU in various challenges to come out on top. For example, Vanquish. You must defeat more soldiers and officers than your opponent. All the while, item drops that can alter the playing field will occur. These can range from lowering defense, attack, speed, not allowing the other person to attack or block, and more. So even if you're winning, the other player can be a dick and get ahead, and vice versa. All is fair in warfare now. As you rank up points, you can summon officers and troops to the battlefield in hopes of getting more KOs or to take out your opponent, who you cannot attack, by the way. Overall, this is probably my favorite mode within Versus mode. Nothing better than mowing down hordes of enemies in a Warriors game, especially with another person or CPU. Too bad this CPU wasn't available in Musou mode. Imagine playing a Warriors game in co-op but with an AI that can actually do something. Dreams will be dreams. My second least favorite mode is Pilfer, where you need to break crates and gather resources to give to a merchant. If your bar is full, you cannot gather any more stuff to turn in. As you play, enemies will patrol around and the merchant will move too. If an enemy spots you, you're in for a fight. The AI will not hold back against thieves. There's supply captains running around too. These guys carry more goods to give to the merchant. So even if there's no more crates around you, at least these guys can help you get something. It's an overall okay mode, but I'd rather fight hordes of enemies and not play 2 + 2 = 7. My least favorite mode is a new variant to bridge melee in Xtreme Legends, where you have to knock people off the platform to score points. If you don't, you get nothing.
You get nothing! You lose!
If you play this one, make sure you have a moveset that can benefit you, as Lubu doesn't work well, and I got destroyed by Emiru. You can knock each other off the platform for more points too, which is neat in theory, and only in theory. Honestly, I hated this mode. Punishing people for not using a certain character in a Warriors game where you can only win by knocking people off of a platform with tons of walls that ensure hitboxes don't let them fall off. Yeah, fuck this mode. Endurance is my second favorite mode. Had it not been for the small play area and poisonous water, I'd probably consider it my favorite overall. While yes, it's still competitive, here you can help each other out more so in this arena of death. Your goal is to outlive the other person. Every time you defeat a horde of enemies, new ones swarm you, with officers and more just non-stop coming at you. It's a tense experience that I wish we could have back in later games. Maybe even a co-op version for those who don't want PvP and instead PvE. While later games let you have more customization over a game setup, DW4E does not, as you can only pick historical or fictional alongside difficulty. Historical will have all lands set up to be more accurate, while fictional is random, while letting you set up a kingdom of your own. As you pick your starting spot, you will notice how much money you'll get per turn, and what items you can get to be produced for combat. Pick whatever sounds best and choose your ruler you will play as. Yes, you can only play as a ruler in this entry, and you cannot pick any other officers to play with. At the beginning of every turn, you can pick a proposal. There's no option to select exactly what you want like in later games. DW5E did give you that option first, so go figure. Each one costs different degrees of money. Some can restore troops or net you a new officer. Some can even create a trade deal of items or even alliance with another kingdom.
I have a proposal.
Thankfully, if you don't want to waste any gold, you can skip a proposal and save up for other things like invasions and hiring new officers after battles. So let's talk about invasions next.
We have the advantage. Let us go and wipe them out.
Anyone who has ever played an Empire's game should know what to do. Bum rush enemy bases and take out the main camp. Unless of course it's the capital of an enemy kingdom, then you'll have to take out the enemy commander or main camp.
You just stepped on the tiger's tail!
Depending on how many officers you bring with you and what their stats are, you could start with an advantage in numbers. Whoever has the most troops gets the most bases at the start of every battle.
I will be your opponent! I will be your opponent!
There's no stratagems or commanding officers in this entry. That means you cannot tell people to charge, defend, free will, or follow you with the D-pad, unlike DW5E. Honestly, it's a more basic Empire's experience with not much in the way of strategy that the series was known for at one point. At least the AI doesn't fuck around and will fight back. I had to run around and save other officers constantly, retaking bases just to go after the main camp. It's quite challenging, if not also annoying.
Our forces have taken over the stronghold!
Now why is it annoying? Because the allied officers get destroyed so quickly. That's a major issue with majority of Warriors games after DW4. No matter how hard you try, your allies will drop dead like fruit flies. I experienced this non-stop in Samurai Warriors 3 just the other day.
Things are getting a little desperate, aren't they? Thank you, thank you.
Be gone. Someone help me out of this mess!
Just fucking, you know? I think your shit is...
Invasions are basic and can be fun. Just be ready to do all the work, as your allies are worthless. Even if they're high level and tons of troops, they will still get wrecked within 5 seconds of fighting a few generic soldiers. After every battle, you get points based on various factors, with a subtraction for casualties during combat. These points are meaningless in this Empire's game. Now I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't they be used to gain levels and increase stats? No! Instead, it's just for show, as every officer has a set of goals. These goals can be viewed when selecting officers. These goals are the only way to level up. So that means if you want to increase your attack or troop count or weapon level to use more combos and stuff, get out there and complete those goals, such as getting a certain number of points, slaughter a certain number of soldiers, have a set number of proposals accepted, serve a certain amount of turns, conquer a set number of territories, and more.
I have a proposal. All you have to do is nod. All right, it's decided.
The other part of battle results is hiring or letting prisoners go. Depending on their uniqueness and stats, everyone will vary in cost to recruit. They will always accept in this game, unlike later titles where they can refuse to serve you. Plus, in later games, you can execute officers. This all started in DW5E. So let's talk about the other kind of battles you will be getting into. These are defensive battles, and get used to playing the same one over and over again, as the AI seems to favor attacking the same territory every single time. Plus, once they begin attacking, you have to defend or lose that territory.
Pull back for now!
This in turn costs you your turn, so every turn you'll be defending the same exact territory over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I did, and it was so annoying. No matter what, I couldn't stop it till I just allowed them to have it. Basically 20 minutes of non-stop defending Hulao Gate from Lu Bu's forces over the course of 3 or so more battles, and it got old and I wanted to stop playing the game altogether and scrap this review. Just constantly having to defend the same territory over and over again is just boring. Defensive battles are annoying but easier than invasions, as you have 2 ways to win: hold out till the time runs out, or defeat the commander. So you have a better fighting chance in these, till, you know, your allies start dying for being fucking useless and more worthless than a generic soldier. There's no strategy in this game. Outside of picking proposals that can give you an item or an alliance, that's about it in terms of strategy. There's no unit summoning special units to fight for you. There's no ambushes, fires, telling officers what to do, and more like in later games. It's just Dynasty Warriors 4 with less aggressive AI and bases. In other words, it's the base game of Dynasty Warriors 5. Sadly, they decided to recast pretty much everyone after Xtreme Legends. This means most of the voices are not the original actors from the base game in XL.
Why?
Most of the voices are not good and feel out of place. It's a sad turn of events, and it makes it harder to enjoy the game. Just imagine if they made an expansion for a Halo game and changed the Master Chief to be voiced by Eddie Murphy instead to cut cost or whatever. It'd suck. Let's say, monkey fuck?
Alright, it's decided.
The music is great, with not much in the way of new, though the intro tune is rockin' and the main theme has a chilling opening. The only other stuff is during phases setting up a game, and of course, the credits song.
To our great fortune, Zhuge Liang has finally passed on. Victory is ours. Now, everyone, show your joy, not with your blade, but with a dance! されながら目的地が離れてしまうけど遠回り
There's an archive mode where you can view all officers with their model variants, weapons, and animations, plus their voice lines and bio.
I am the hero of chaos. I am Cao Cao. Nothing shall stand in the way of my ambition.
We can view all the different kinds of troops.
Yeah, boy.
This right here is my favorite thing, ever.
All the artwork and rewatched intro of Empires, as well as all the weapons and items in the game. There's not much else to say about DW4E. In fact, I'd rather just move on and be done with the century. I mean, I still have to review Dynasty Warriors 5, Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires, Dynasty Warriors 8 Xtreme Legends, Complete Edition, Dynasty Warriors 9, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate, Samurai Warriors 3, Samurai Warriors 4 Empires, and Samurai Warriors 4 DX.
Jesus Christ!
At the end of the day, Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires is a mediocre game I cannot recommend. It's so poorly designed and it makes sense given it's the first Empires game, but that doesn't excuse how bad it is. It was never great or good. Plus, with so many sequels now after being out since 2004, yes, this game is 20 years old now. If you want to go back and play any older Empires game, your only choice is Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires of the classic era of Warriors games. But for modern, the only good one is 7 Empires. I wanted to give 4 Empires a fair chance, but I hated it back then and I hate it even more now. It's just a shallow, boring, unbalanced mess of an experience not worth your time as it wasn't mine.
I am Ma Chao of Xiliang. I shall make my name known throughout the land.
I'm not sure if I'll ever cover every Dynasty Warriors game and the rest of Samurai and Orochi, but at least I can check off this incarnation. A great base game, an average Xtreme Legends, and a mediocre Empires game. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.